Voters here in the city of Toronto tend to think differently than those outside the city throughout the province of Ontario. Premier Doug Ford knows this. He also knows that everything he does has a direct impact on the city. And that's why he and the government care about what people here think. A good job or bad job at this point?
Bad job.
Why do you think that?
Where do we begin?
Premier Ford remains a polarizing figure in Toronto, according to a poll conducted by Maru Public Opinion for CityNews, surveying hundreds of people across the city. When asked what kind of job the Premier is doing for Toronto, 45% feel Ford is doing okay, while 55% say they aren't in favor of his performance. Nearly 1/3 believe he's doing a very bad job.
What is interesting about a good job, bad job, though, is that you can be more intense in those views, and the intensity is more in the negative view than it is in the positive view. So he's generally seen as doing a good job, but for those people that don't like the Premier, he's seen as doing a really bad job.
There has been speculation in recent weeks about whether or not the Ford government opts for an early election, rather than wait for 2026. If it was to happen tomorrow, Toronto voters were asked if the Premier deserves to be re-elected. 30% said he deserves to be, 58% said it's time for a change, while 12% are undecided.
If he's looking at these, he's probably asking himself, where are these numbers coming from? And do I have support in Etobicoke and Scarborough and North York? And if so, he's probably feeling okay about things.
While the province as a whole may be fans of Ford in general, Toronto has been harder to win over, beyond those in his own riding.
One of the best measures when you're not an election campaign is to find out whether someone deserves to be re-elected. And in this poll, we find 30% of people saying that Doug Ford deserves to be re-elected, which is roughly what he got in the last election campaign. So he's holding his vote in Toronto. It's not expanding.
With no sign of making any inroads at this point, even among those who may be sitting on the fence.
Actually, some of his policies are good, some of his policies are questionable.
Then, of course, there are the issues that play into all of this. Ontario Place, the Science Centre, housing, safe consumption sites as of late. These are all things that we're going to be taking a deeper dive into as part of our exclusive polls next week. Mark McAllister, City News.